Hello and welcome to the 8th episode of No Holds Barred, and welcome back to Sal this week. Welcome return. Before we carried on, I just wanted to say thanks to our guest host last week, Super Tansky.
Bless her heart.
Excellent stand-in. Yeah, thanks Tan for doing that. You were brilliant. And
so generous and kind.
It was.
Yes.
And it went well, I think.
Definitely.
So yeah,
Sal we can have a bicker. Now I'm involved.
Exactly. Yeah.
You can't have a vacuum chamber. That's not what this podcast is. This podcast is interesting ideas being discussed.
Definitely not. Yeah.
But yeah, no, that massive thanks to Tan. It was a real Hail Mary when I DM'd her because I just had a mad panic. We didn't expect the news that we got, really, not even the vet. So yeah, it was a bit sort of sudden. But do you know what? Yeah, 12 lovely years. He had quite a short and painless ending, and you can't really ask for more than that, can you? We were blessed with him, and it was fabulous. And we have lots of lovely memories. So yeah, big thanks to everybody who's held me up because I've been so supported. It's been lovely. So obviously yourself, Tan, Peter, Paul, Gary, Claire, loads of people to mention. I could be here all day, but I'm so grateful for our community. So thank you, everybody.
Yeah. Awesome stuff. I think, it's nice when we're building a little community and people step up, and it's just nice to be nice, isn't it? So
yeah, it absolutely is.
Yeah.
Unless you're discussing things with the right wing.
Well, that's always fun. Never get a nice reply generally, but
I tell you what, I haven't had in my latest reform bot attack. I haven't been called a file, so that's nice. Maybe they're evolving.
No, I get that at least 20 times a day.
So ridiculous.
I'm usually a rape gang apologist because I don't know why.
Oh yeah,
that's the standard attack line I tend to get. So,
which you then have to respond with, "Why do you only care about 3% of rape and SA victims?"
I know.
Nonsense. Yeah. Absolutely nonsense.
I've got to the point on Twitter. Yeah, I got to the point on Twitter now. I just can't keep up with it, so I just ignore it mostly. But
yeah,
people do try and goad as much as they possibly can. I was going to say this at the end actually, but it's quite funny because this week I've had more than any other replies to my posts on X with right-wing trolls, normally anonymous accounts, but they have started using Grok to try and prove me wrong.
Oh, that was posts. So funny.
I've had it. I don't know how many replies I've had with people saying, "Oh dear, Grok is Don McGowan right about what he's posted." And I think if anyone knows me, hopefully what I'm getting a bit known for is actually putting out facts, and I research and I look at what I'm doing, and if I put out anything incorrect, I'll correct it immediately. But for the most part, I really try and keep everything as researched as possible. So Grok has so far, I think.
You.
Yeah, I think Grok's backed me up 100% on the time so far. So. They don't like that either. So.
Remember the man that was obsessed with your hair?
Yeah, he got Grok to ask. Oh, this was weird. He asked Grok to say, or find out what hair wax I used and where my glasses were from. It's like, yeah, that's weird.
Wasn't that after he insulted you?
Yeah, a couple of times.
So weird.
I know. He said, Grok, please tell me where Don McGowan gets his hair lacquer from. I said, Jeff, just ask me. And I just sent him a link to my fish wax that I use. No product placement, YouTube there. That was just a comment. So, yeah. If you want to know where I get my hair products, anyone on the right, just ask me. My glasses are...
We're open to all questions. Just ask. Place it in the comments.
Grok won't know where I get my hair products from.
But, probably have a good guess.
Yeah. So that's been a fun week of weird trolling I've had this week. So, yeah.
They're crackers
So
and dangerous,
yeah,
actually. It still bothers me because there was something. Do you remember there was I can't even remember. There's just, as we were saying earlier, there just seems to have been such a deluge of global news this week that it's hard to remember what piece everything together. But there was a tweet that I said, if you're looking for a thread full of bots, check this one out. And then some guy came and said, "Prove it."
oh yeah,
What?
I
There's
saw that.
millions of them. Go and find your own. Shut up.
I know. Do your own
And
research,
but he was
mate.
like, "No, answer me." I'm like, go away.
I know.
Silence is
That's
always
the
the best
problem.
option with these people.
Yeah, I think so. They're so demanding. That's the problem. Like, I genuinely can't keep up with
It's not
the amount
normal,
of
is it?
questions. No, no. Like, I try and reply to everybody I possibly can in terms of people in good faith that I follow or they follow me or whatever, or have genuine questions. Anyone, but
Oh,
the trolls.
it was it was a racism thing, I think. Yeah, it was. It was. What was the thing? Oh God, I'm sure it's back to bloody reform again. What was the
Probably.
thing that they brought out with like knobhead figures of indigenous white people, which basically meant that they wanted to deport the king?
Yes. Oh, that was it. I've got that on my
That was the
notes to
thread
talk
because
about.
it was so
Yeah.
racist. I mean, it was vile. It was a lady who posted something. Oh my God, they half of them can't be human, and they're the ones who egg the
Mm.
humans on. I think the bot
Yeah,
farmers.
I
It's
agree.
just repulsive.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, that's Matthew Goodwin, isn't it? In his latest,
That was it.
the champion of free speech who blocked me many months ago now. His latest
Yeah,
great
me too.
replacement
Hey, just
theory, bollocks.
replace him with somebody
Yeah, let's.
intelligent.
But he's such a weird character. He's definitely a reform activist now, isn't he? But he basically has made up his own research policy unit at Buckingham University. And Buckingham,
Get
but
lost. Has he?
no, I need to. Yeah, he has. And it's
My
oh
brother
my
went
god, I've
there.
forgotten what it's called. It's called something like the
Buckinghamshire
Centre for.
Chilterns.
I don't know. It's a made up university. It's not like a real uni.
So he's not a
And
proper professor then. That makes so much sense because I always said, "Show me a right wing academic." Along comes, oh, he calls himself professor. Now I understand.
no, I think actually, to be fair to Goodwin, he is a real professor. But I think because he's been debunked so many times, he has then moved to this sort of. It's a real university, but it was kind of like very recently made up, and it's very focused on right wing policy. And he's built himself a policy unit called this. I think it's called the Centre for Heteronox. I don't know, policy. I don't know. It's basically for people who don't
That
think like other people.
that'll be where them staffers you and Tam were talking about come from.
The what?
That'll be where them Labour staffers you and Tam were talking
Oh,
about come from.
yeah, it might be. Yeah,
Well, I
Keir
mean,
Starmer's.
it's not far off the actual truth, is it? Let's be honest.
Yeah, Starmer's policy and comms team. I know. So yeah, basically, Matt Goodwin has been debunked over and over and over and over and over again, so many times that he's had to set up his own
No professional
research unit.
standing whatsoever.
Yeah, and he's got the Telegraph punted it out yesterday, so it was all over the right wing media. And then I heard good old Tom Swarbrick went on it yesterday as well, unsurprisingly. And it's just bollocks. It's just I don't really know how he's allowed to get away with this stuff because within seconds, people like Zoe Gardner and Sundar Katwala, people that really, really know what they're talking about.
No, they're onions.
Yeah, ripped it to pieces. They were like, this is great replacement conspiracy bollocks as usual from Goodwin. So, yeah, he's a nutcase.
It's just so pathetic.
It is. But he's a reform attention seeker like all of the rest of them.
Yeah.
He's got his GB News show. What are you going to do? He just falls into the same categories of all the rest of them. Just But he's a bit like Jordan Peterson now, not Jordan Peterson original, but he's there for the money and the attention.
Adult.
Yeah, a bit.
Heavy narcissism, is it?
Oh yeah, probably.
Massive egos.
Probably.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Yeah, I think I saw Zoe Gardner did a debate with Goodwin. It's on YouTube. I think if I find it, I'll put the link in if I remember. But it's very, very good. And
she's brilliant. I don't know if she keeps her cool.
Yeah, Zoe is. I know, she's fantastic. But she ripped him to pieces in this debate, and it's well worth a watch. So we'll stick it in at the bottom. Go and have a look at that when you get a second. So yeah, well done, Zoe. She's one to follow if you want to know the truth about immigration statistics and stuff like that.
Oh, she's fabulous. Mm-hmm. She's just she just keeps so calm. Yeah. When she must be absolutely fizzing inside, but yeah bless definitely. Her. Should we get PMQs out of the way, because it's very much highlights this week?
Yeah, go for it.
Bad Enoch again. Apparently, she suddenly cares about pensioners after 14 years of paying them the lowest old age pension in the actual developed world. So she was pestering Starmer over, is he reintroducing the winter fuel payments? He wouldn't really be held to, it seems like they're going to reverse it, or at least raise the threshold of the, or raise the threshold for the, what's the word I'm looking for?
The cut-off?
Means testing.
Oh, right. Got you. Yeah.
What he did, he sort of said they will be re-looking at it or something since we've stabilised the economy. So is he genuinely telling us that cutting off those handful of pensioners of 200 or 300 quid has stabilised the economy? I mean, no, obviously he's not. I'm taking the mick, but just this week was just extra shit. She asked him about is he going to scrap the 2-child benefit cap, and they just had a ping pong over it with no actual substance or answers at all. So my actual notes read, so performative, my life, absolute children, captured by their own confirmation bias and raging egos, not doing a remotely professional job, disgraceful, no substance at all. And then
Sorry.
And then somebody stood up and asked him about Israel, and he reeled out his usual, I strongly oppose the violence, blah, 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 avoiding any kind of substance. Ed Davey asked if he would be raising the threshold of the winter fuel payment. He also asked, he did all his questions together. It was a bit odd, I think. He asked about Trump and his 50% tariffs on steel and what are we going to do about that. In Sal speak, he basically said, Trump's a massive shape-shifting con man. What are you going to do about it? In essence. And Starmer, oh my God. I've actually written, Jesus, he is dull and dangerous. And he evaded any kind of substantive answer. Just word salad. And he asked if he'll be pushing the UN to get aid to Gaza, and it was just more word salad, avoiding genocide and the truth.
Yeah.
So that was fun. I lost the will to live after that, I'm afraid. So
you didn't stick around for Reform's Sarah Popkin's very first question.
Well, I thought that was a separate issue all of its own, really, because can we put it in for people who might not have seen it? Because it was...
I can clip it, yeah.
It was the most vivid display of racism the House of Commons might have ever seen.
Yeah, I agree.
So, if you want to ask that question and not upset people, you ask, can we introduce a ban on face coverings? Which you can't because particulates and health and other reasons, you ignorant cow. But they like the noise, don't they? And the clicks and the outrage. And if you go back and look at her there's videos of her when she, I think, was mayor or deputy mayor, giving speeches about how important equality, inclusion, and diversity actually is. So,
Yeah,
not serious people. There for the coin. Don't give a toss about anything else. It's disgusting.
definitely. No, for sure. Yeah, I mean, it's just weaponizing Islamophobia again, isn't it? It's just,
Yeah.
ramping up their latest bandwagon to distract from the fact that they've got nothing else to give. So,
But it's also feeding into the Christo-fascist
yeah.
projection, because they're accusing that, you could go back in history as long as you like. The right have been accusing the Muslims of invading and taking over, when in fact it wasn't Muslims doing that, was it? It was other
No.
people getting into all of our institutions, like, I don't know, the BBC and the banks and whatever the hay, and under the banner or shield, I should say, of being Jewish. You're not Jewish. You're a Zionist.
Yeah.
There's a very, very big difference.
Sure.
And
Yeah, definitely.
here we are. It's absolutely captured by it. And they're still blaming the Muslim.
Yep.
Isn't religion brilliant?
Oh no, it's just mad. They must have like a spreadsheet, I reckon, Reform every week where they like need to tick off what they're gonna sort of make everyone angry about next week. So they've must have a calendar spreadsheet somewhere. They go, this week's going to be, let's talk about burqas because that's a good one to get people frothed up. Or like next week it'll be back to small boats. Next week, the one after, it'll be,
I'm not
I
sure
don't know.
they're
It's
that
always
organised,
immigration based. Do you
I
not
reckon.
think?
I reckon Farage just sticks his finger in the wind. Who haven't we done lately?
Yeah, I don't know. It's something we're going to come on to. Well, I want to come on to in a minute. Is this sort of latest reform DOGE attempt at copying MAGA? I think there's something a bit more.
So embarrassing.
Oh, I know, but there's something a bit dark about it, and I think there's something. It's coming from the US. This basically, and they're led by it, aren't they? The sort of Heritage Foundation, Project 2025. It's all coming out of them, but they're just not
little
doing it very
boys
well.
running around in cowboy hats and cowboy boots, aren't they?
They are. They don't have the professional money and people like Trump had, and I don't. What Trump's doing is horrific, but what they've done is do it very well. And they had people like Elon Musk behind it. What Farage is doing, until 2 days ago. But what Farage is doing is trying to copy it, almost like word for copy paste it.
Yeah.
But they're not very good at it. They're just, like you said, they're little boys. And, they've brought in this new guy, which I will talk about a little bit more in detail in a minute, but Nathaniel Fried to be their tech guy in UK British Doge. But they're just not doing it very well. And just quickly then back to PMQs is like her question on the burqa was quickly disowned by the party, saying that isn't Reform's policy.
Even though went down like a cup of cold soup.
It really did. And then Lee Anderson was obviously cheerleading it on Twitter, and about an hour after it, Richard Tice was also cheerleading it on Twitter and put a post out saying, fantastic question from Sarah, should we ban the burqa, blah blah blah. I checked this morning and that post is now gone from Richard Tice's Twitter feed, so he's obviously had a little elbow in the ribs from Nigel Farage to say no. So
or maybe it's his neighbours in Dubai taking offence.
Yeah, quite possibly. But the left hand don't know what the right hand are doing in Reform. They're absolute shambles.
Oh, I mean, it's a charabanc.
Yeah.
And I don't mean to brag, but I think somebody might have predicted that. I'm not bragging. Everyone predicted it because UKIP. It's just rebanded UKIP.
They are 100%. It is. And what happened to UKIP? they had internal fighting and fell to pieces. And I saw another step towards that today, actually, was their party chairman, Zaya Youssef, had put out a tweet yesterday, I think, about, I didn't really know that wasn't party policy, and effectively called Sarah Potchin dumb, his own MP, on Twitter, which I thought was a unique way of running a party. But yeah, so he called his own MP dumb, and then Katie Hopkins.
Oh my
Katie
God,
Hopkins.
no. What did she do?
So Katie Hopkins started tweeting about, I've got her blocked, but somehow I saw what she was posting, and she was attacking Zaya Youssef because of this. And it's the fracture is just widening now, because
So hang on.
there's a
She was attacking Zaya Youssef for attacking Sarah Puchin for saying we should tell women how to dress.
yeah.
It's very confusing.
Well, basically, I think this was always coming with Reform having Zaya Youssef as their chairman, because we all know there's an awful lot of racist people in Reform. Not everyone in Reform is racist, but most likely everyone racist is in Reform. And they're attacking him now because of this burqa thing. And it was always going to come, but there was always going to be a split appeared when you can't be racist enough for these people. And I'd say there's a big chunk of Reform that fall into that group.
I mean, some of the things they've said, their councillors have said and done this week are just...
yeah.
There was a guy in Kent who stood up and said some children in care are evil.
Yeah, I saw that. It's mad.
You absolute monster. Some children in care, most children in care are traumatised, and it affects their neurology and therefore their behaviour. You thick, horrible danger.
Yeah. Yeah.
They should just be... Not like Tommy Cooper, but Yes.
Just like that. Yeah, I don't know. The whole local government thing with Reform is just falling to pieces as well. Every single day there's another one binned. Yesterday, I think there was 2 councillors had to be removed from the party for saying overtly racist things. But that's because they don't vet anyone. And Farage said, we're going to vet everyone.
I thought they were supposed to be strengthening their vetting processes after whatever it was last time. Can't even remember.
Yeah, at the general election, where they ended up having to bin loads of candidates before the election because people started looking into them. Yeah, but they just haven't done any vetting again. Yeah, exactly. Like genuine Nazis were trying to stand for government under Reform banner. Yeah, but chaos within Reform again. But I think it's good for us. It's good, makes good content to watch and point as it happens.
As funny as it can be, because underneath it all, what they're doing is going to affect people's lives, and not in a good way, on a real grassroots level. And it is for that kind of reason that I just think they should be hoofed off a cliff. Yeah, and in an ideal world, I would never talk about them because of, if we had like big numbers and had a platform, I'd probably have an issue with talking about them so much.
Yeah.
But it's just because it entertains us and we're just starting out and we, it's our little community. You know what we're going to talk about. It is what it is. But back to the manifestation thing, because that's literally how it works, isn't it? The more noise they make, the bigger their profile gets, the more people have heard about them. If they're that big, they must be serious then. And people start taking them seriously. But
they are.
But all that has to happen to stop all this madness is press reform.
Yep.
And somehow it's still... Where is Lisa Nandy? I know we saw her live a couple of weeks ago. I mean, it's actually quite a good time probably to mention Tan, straight after doing the pod with you, bless her, or around that point anyway, interviewed Stella Creasy in a type of interview I haven't seen since maybe my teenage years. She was so good. That lady has got a big future in front of her. I recommend everybody go to Super Tansky and watch the Stella Creasy interview. It's about decriminalising abortion. How is that a criminal act in 2025? But thankfully, Stella Creasy is trying to get ahead of the old American plan for this year. I don't like mentioning it because, wizards in the computer. But Tan, so they were there to talk about Stella's petition to decriminalise abortion, which I have retweeted and Tan has and Stella has. Maybe we could link it down in the thing.
Definitely.
Because it's quite important, especially when you hear Stella describe like all the terrible scenarios that are still allowed to go on. But Tan asked her about everything you two discussed last week. And without fear or favour, she was just on it. She was amazing. Absolutely incisive interview. Really, really good. So please, everyone, go and watch that.
Yeah. We'll put a link downstairs. That's not right, is it? Down below.
I'm downstairs now.
Yeah, look downstairs and then you'll find a link. I'll put a link in and heartily recommend that for sure. Yeah. We can say that we discovered her.
Yeah. Yeah, not quite. I discovered her in 2020 and she absolutely, do you know what? She saved me because, like I say, I've been screaming for years and very much on my own on Facebook. And then suddenly on YouTube, she just pops up and I'm like, that's me. Yeah. You do what I do and I get told off for doing that, but you're doing it and everyone loves you. What's wrong with where I am? What am I doing wrong? So weird. Join Twitter. Next plan. So yeah, I met her in Liverpool a couple of years ago and a couple of times since. So she's just ace. She really is. So yeah.
Yeah, she was brilliant with me last week. But really easy to chat to.
Going back to last week, you were talking a bit about AI. And I just wanted to give me 4 penny. What's the saying? Give me 2 pennies worth.
2 pennies? Yeah, I think so.
Yeah. Tuppenny bit. Anyway. Oh, sorry, brain fart. AI.
I've got some AI stuff as well in a minute.
I don't like. Okay, let me change that. I'm very fearful of new technology. Mainly because I hate learning things because I just feel dumb until I've acquired the knowledge. But AI, it's not just the mendacious capabilities it's got and the Black Mirror stuff. The worry for me is that at the sort of down at the bottoms of my theory, think that we're in this position because, and it's something I've been saying since I was at school, our educational syllabus is absolutely insane. We're supposed to be preparing people to go out there in the world and strive and be productive and all the rest of it. But we're producing drones and only a few people sort of break through, as we can see by sort of the pyramid of success. Because we're not educating people to be free critical thinkers.
Yeah.
And what we've now got on top of that are people doing dissertations that have been done by AI for them.
Yeah.
Which is great if you want to have a lovely, first or a 2-1 when you're only supposed to get a 2-2 or whatever. But what are you learning? What do you understand about the qualification you've just cheated your way to? And then what happens when we've got a power cut and we're all back to analog? Because if you don't use it, if you don't use the bits of your brain, you lose them and then you have to relearn them. It's literally a neurology thing. The neurons die and then you have to sort of recreate them or exercise that bit of your brain. So what the fuck? Like, how is no one seeing this? We're already struggling with our brains. And there's a million different tangents I could go on with this, but that's my worry with AI, is that it's going to make people more stupid or less less mentally agile, certainly. And yeah, I mean, where's the grown-ups in the room?
Well, yeah, I think Tan said something similar last week, that it's encouraging and breeding laziness into people. And I think when you're looking at education, that's a prime kind of
I mean, I'm
worry.
sure in many ways it could help education, but equally, I saw, in fact, funny enough, when I was waiting to come on here, I read an article retweeted by a lady whose name escapes me, but it was Northwest Bylines.
Oh yeah.
And it was about AI in education, and they were saying that as much as sort of the programs on the computers are quite good for education, the lack of human interaction is having a massive effect on people. And
Right.
if we learn anything from the pandemic, it should be that
Yeah,
we've got
true.
isolation issues with people. You know?
Yeah, definitely.
And all we're doing with the move to sort of a cashless society and an AI-led society is you're decreasing the need for human interaction. And I can attest, as well as anybody in this country, that isolation is crippling to your mental health. Absolutely
Yeah,
crippling.
definitely.
So
Yeah,
we're making a rod
it's
for our own
horrible.
backs, because then you're going to have an already bust and exhausted mental health system that doesn't even bloody work because it's so antiquated, even more deluged. I
Yeah. Yeah, I agree.
don't know what to
I mean,
say.
I think I spoke really briefly about like my sort of short time at university last year when I went back to train and become a teacher, which didn't get very far because of the computer says no
Stupid rules.
set up on the finance. But I think maybe I was lucky in our tutor and the way it was set, in our course, the way it was set up, because it was all in on site on campus. So there was no online learning apart from, you know, the odd meeting with the tutor. So that was brilliant, and I think they did that well. And they spoke about the AI thing at the beginning. They said, you know, if you're using AI, we can tell. I was like, okay, but they did have some sort of a system of AI to check if you were using AI. So, you know, the computers are checking the computers in that situation.
Funny enough, my
Excuse me, but
friend who works at the Home Office had an interview, well, reached interview stage with them the other week, and it was an AI interview. And he was told that, like, if you look away from the camera for like 5 seconds or something, it presumes you're reading something, and you're not allowed to do that. I'd be
what?
like,
Wow, that is
Clockwork
weird.
Orange, me.
Jesus.
It's so stupid.
Oh, that's quite scary. That, yeah. I
Mm.
don't know how I'd feel about that. That's weird. I don't
Oh,
like
that's the
talking on.
least scary thing in the Home Office, trust me.
Yeah, I can imagine. But
Mm.
yeah, I'm not brilliant doing meetings over Zoom. Generally, he says, staring into a camera doing a podcast over.
I think we're going to
But
have to get used to it, mate.
I'm getting better at it. I really disliked it during the pandemic, though, like the sort of boom in video calls. I was like, no, I don't want to. But
Yeah.
I'm okay now. But that's weird having an AI kind of back and forth. That's very strange.
Yeah,
Yeah,
me no likey. I like things
no,
to be tried, tested, and used for a while before I'll adopt them.
yeah. Oh, I love trying new
Just
technology, but yeah, it's like what Tan was quite worried, I think, generally about the sort of AI last week. I'm kind of a bit worried, but less so than she was. I don't think we're going to get to the Terminator Skynet stuff. I think we
I
can.
think they would if they fucking could. Um, I
Well,
I don't know. I know where she's coming from, because I think
so do I.
it's not so much the technology that's the danger. It's the psychopathy of the people in charge of creating the AI, or
Yeah.
certainly at the very top of these companies. Speaking of which, found out very recently, Peter What's His Face, Palantir PayPal,
Yep.
Peter Thiel.
Teal. Yeah.
Guess who funded him in his early days?
Don't know. He was closely linked with Musk. Is it Musk? Oh,
Do you remember the guy Brian who used to run the Beatles? Don't want to say the name because the algorithm's so
yeah. I
on
know exactly
YouTube.
who you're talking about. Yeah.
Yeah,
the
yeah, it was
producer of the
him.
Beatles. Yeah.
Yeah, he
Really?
well, no, same name.
Oh, I see. With you now. Sorry.
Hmm.
Oh, was it
Um,
now?
yeah. Mm. Anyone joining Dots yet?
Mm, yeah, it's
Because
interesting that.
I just, how can we hack their fortunes away from them?
I know. I wrote a big long post about that very thing with Peter Thiel this week, and because I saw, did you see Carol Cadwallader on the Daily Show with Jon Stewart
Yeah,
this
with Jon
week?
Stewart. Yeah, I haven't seen the
Yeah,
interview
yeah.
yet, but I have got it pegged to
Uh,
watch.
Another one I'm going to put at the bottom for people to watch, because I wrote a big long thing about it, because Carol's obviously amazing, and she sort of single-handedly took on the sort of data bros behind Brexit and Cambridge Analytica, didn't she? And it, to her detriment, you know, she took a lot of flack after that, and
Wasn't
she's
Starmer caught up in that? Cambridge Analytica, or was
I
that the
don't
Pandora Papers?
yeah, I think he
Also,
was
what's
in
the
that, but I
difference
don't.
between the two? I can't remember.
Well, no. No, the
Oh.
Cambridge Analytica was with Carol Cadwallader anyway, was when they were, and Palantir were quite heavily involved. They were creating software
Hmm.
to give to Cambridge Analytica that then analyzed people's online profiles and you know was able to then feed through to the Leave campaigns and lo and behold Brexit. So Teal's got like his fingers in a lot of pies, and I just wrote a big thing about it after seeing Carol's. I'm just looking for it now. So yeah, Palantir are huge. They're a multi-billion-dollar company. They do lots of different things, but they in 2023, Rishi Sunak gave them a 330 million pound contract to create a data platform within our own NHS.
Where they can
So
steal all our
thanks.
data.
Well, yeah, I mean, thanks to tech bro Sunak, Peter Thiel's now got all of our most intimate details. If he didn't have them already, but you know, if he didn't, he definitely has now.
And lest we
um,
forget that his is it the UK director is grandson of Oswald Mosley.
yes, he's yeah. That
It's
it's
worth
such a
mentioning because,
weird,
join the
dark.
dots.
Yeah, exactly. I know. I wrote something like that in one of my posts this week. End up like starting to become a bit like that Charlotte Gill on Twitter, where she makes her connections.
Very,
So
very polar opposite
I know,
things. There's Charlotte
but
Gill,
she,
and then there's you, and I'm somewhere in the middle.
I know Charlotte Gill spent weeks apparently and came up with a link between, I think, was it Marina Purkis and Carol Vorderman or something? It's like,
Oh,
really?
she's insane. But I
Yeah.
I thoroughly enjoy taking the piss.
Yes. Same.
She's very entertaining.
But I feel
All
like I've
right,
gone a bit down
Columbo.
like exactly. I feel like I've gone a bit down that kind of rabbit hole of kind of making
No, but
bits of
these are
string.
genuine links. You see, the trouble she's
Yeah.
got is she knows what goes on her side of the fence. She knows how
Yeah.
that works. So she's projecting that onto, well, they must be doing it too. And that's
Yeah. Yeah.
disgraceful if they're doing it for reasons I can't fathom. But,
Yeah.
she's not that switched on, clearly.
Mm.
Because, do you know what? The right do not understand people doing things for the greater good. They just have no
Yeah.
comprehension of it at all. They actually think
No.
there's something wrong with us, when in fact they're the ones missing the EQ bit of the brain,
Yeah,
and
definitely.
therefore
I know.
complete intelligence, which is why evil's
Yeah.
stupid.
Yeah, for the most part. And evil clever is quite dangerous, like people like Peter Thiel. It's like definitely not
Yeah,
stupid, but definitely
they
evil.
always mess up, and it's usually too much greed, too much ego. They can't
Yeah.
control it.
Yeah.
That's the universe's Achilles heel for the mad people. They
Mm.
can't control their own uh, thirst for whatever it is they want.
Yeah, yeah. The hubris gets them in the end.
Mm.
Yeah, Musk's finding that out this week, isn't he?
Sorry, but it's been so nice to watch.
Oh, it's funny,
We
isn't
don't
it?
get a lot of justice in this world,
I
so we have
know.
to take the minute bits where we can.
Yeah. Everyone thought he was like losing it when Tesla started losing all its value, but now everything's gone completely tits up for him. He's lost the plot. Do you see? There was an
seen that
interview.
little child he was using as a shield in a while, have you?
Yeah, I know. Had him all
That
the way
poor kid's
around.
done for.
Yeah, I know. All the money in the world, but can't be brought up properly. So
He's going to be a vile human being, especially if he's going around allegedly punching his dad in the face. Who teaches the kid to do that?
I don't know.
Oh,
Not
that's
normal,
okay then, if that's what you were doing.
I know, it's mad. But I mean, Musk's. It's just. Did you see he did an interview? There was a Sunday morning thing he did this week, and it was one of the sort of it was supposed to be a bit of a soft soap. And the guy who was interviewing him started asking him about
In the
tariffs.
factory.
Yeah, tariffs in SpaceX.
Yeah.
And he said,
Nope.
how are these?
Nope, this wasn't. Nope.
The guy was like, I was told it was okay to talk to you about anything. He was like, no, I just want to talk about spaceships. And it's like, that's what he said. I was like, oh my God. He's regressed back to what he really is, which is a small child. And, he just wants to be the rocket man.
All he does is blow things up.
Yeah, well, yeah.
In one way, shape, or form.
Yeah. So, I don't know. That we watch with interest as to how that pans out in America, because their big, beautiful bill, that thing that Trump's trying to get through at the moment, and Marjorie Taylor Greene voted for and then came out this week and said, I didn't actually read it. If I'd read it, I wouldn't have voted for it. That's the actual epitome of American politics right now.
Marjorie Taylor Greene can read.
That's what I said. That's exactly what I said on Twitter.
Oh my God, she's thick as my toe.
I know. But it just shows you, doesn't it, like how absolutely mental it is in America that this is possibly the biggest kind of bill policy that is ever going to go through government, and it's going to strip out so much from the less well off in society. And obviously all the rich people are going to get much richer, as always happens.
Disaster capitalism.
Yeah. But then the people that are in charge of
you'll know disaster capitalism from 2010 to present day.
Yeah, that's true. The people in charge of scrutinizing it are just nodding it through and then going, oh shit, what have I done? If I'd read that, I wouldn't have actually agreed with it, but it's too late now, you fucking idiots. Sorry.
It's just mad. I was watching somebody called Hawley on YouTube last night arguing with a college professor, specialist in fact, she runs a podcast that I just followed. Name evades me because I'm existing on very little sleep at the minute. But I'll retweet her because she's not got a huge platform, but it's her and 3 other professors. And that they basically scrutinise government. Well, certainly in this instance, they're scrutinising government, and she claps back at it. This guy's a Republican knob jockey who's all about, the cuts are fine, everything DOLGE is doing is great, and she's going, well, no, because demonstrably this. And he's just trying to wipe the floor with it, and every time she's just... And you think, okay, well, this should have an outcome that favours her and not him, so what's the purpose? I don't...
Yeah.
But it's like, a bit like our 1922 committee, isn't it? People go, they say the piece, everything's great because we've discovered the truth, and then nobody does anything with that.
Yeah,
or they, do whatever they wanted to do in the first place. So, performative, I guess.
Yeah, like it all is. I have to apologise for coughing today. I've got a real bad cold again, and it's just getting on my nerves.
No.
I might use the old software AI and see if I can cut it out with the AI.
So if you can replace it with an animal noise for fun, do a duck quack.
Yeah, probably do that. Yeah. Like you mentioned the DOGE in America, and I just wanted to talk about reform DOGE, the Great British DOGE, or DOLGE. I think that's actually naming it when it comes to local government, because this week is sort of seen the
local government. Right, okay.
Yeah, DOLGE.
Local.
this has been the week they launched it officially, and so they went into Kent County Council with loads of fanfare and photographers.
Very careful when you say that. Maurice Stewart fucked right up in the 90s.
Yeah, exactly. Kent County Council, got it.
That's the one.
And their Doge team, or DOLGE, I don't know what to call it. Anyway, I'm going to call it Doge because people know. Well, yeah, dickheads are two councillors in Kent County Council. Aaron Banks, yeah, I don't know. He's part of it.
Did he win the mayor thing?
No, he didn't win the mayor thing. He lost it.
So what,
he's obviously.
What's he got to do with anything now? Because I keep seeing him in photos this week.
Yeah, well, he's part of British Doge. He's not a consultant. I can't remember what he put it. He put it on Twitter the other day, but a contributor or something to Doge. And then the main guy is called Nathaniel Fried, and he's interesting, to say the least. When I did a bit of a research into him, so he's young. He's 28. He's a bit like Elon Musk, and he turned up in a nice jumper and a baseball cap.
Hang on,
nice
when you
jumper,
say a bit
actually,
like Elon Musk, I'm thinking his parents are Nazis. He was born in apartheid South Africa. Is he?
That I can't confirm or deny.
Parents were loaded.
Yeah, I don't know about that.
Is he a trustafarian?
Is he a trustafarian? I'm not sure. I didn't get that far. Type. Yeah, I just looked at his company kind of stuff online, and basically he's a crypto bro. He's got two companies, major companies that he's involved with. One is called OSINT. Let me just get it right because I don't want to say anything bad for him. OSINT Industries, and OSINT stands for Open Source Intelligence. So it's the sort of thing that people like Bellingcat use to track down Russians and people that brought down jets and things in Russia.
Oh, lovely.
His website is very fancy when you go onto it, and the first thing you see is the banner that says we can investigate any email address or any phone number, which is a bit weird, bit dark. But then you click into his website and he says they support, I'm reading this now because I want to get it right. It goes on to say they support 5,000 law enforcement agencies worldwide with their OSINT abilities. So that's pretty huge, really, I thought.
Law enforcement?
They've got case studies worldwide. That's what he says. And then he's got case studies, including one where
just over 200 countries in the world.
Yeah, you'll see why it doesn't add up in a minute. But
are there 5,000 cities?
He trained. He says law enforcement agencies, so yeah, could be anything. Could be online private investigators for all we know. But
yeah.
There's a case study where he says he trained Brazilian law enforcement officers in OSINT, and there's a photo all blurred out. That's it.
So it could be anything.
But basically, yeah, I had a look on Company's House, and they've been running since about 2003, and he hasn't declared any income on Company's House yet. So zero money.
It's just a shell.
So this is just made up bullshit, as far as I can tell.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a front. It's just a website to say, look,
that was the word I was looking for.
Yeah. Like they offer like some monthly packages which you can click into, and it says, we'll give you this for X a month and this for X a month. And when you click into it, it goes to this kind of fancy page, and it just starts talking about crypto, which is like a big red flag. And instantly, to me, I'm like, okay, that's weird.
Yeah.
And then most of his website doesn't actually work. So I think this is just a young guy has just gone, let's make this stuff up. Yeah. His other company, though, is a bit...
He's in the right company, isn't he?
Yeah, well, this is it. And I think this is where it's leading. Yeah. So his other company that he doesn't declare on Company's House, I couldn't find it, but that's because right at the bottom, buried in one of his web pages, it says it's registered in Texas. So his other company is called Oxbow.io, but it says it deals with the DeFi sector's privacy needs. Now I had to look it up because I'm not brilliant on this stuff, but DeFi just means crypto. So he's running a crypto payment platform
So
with his
deregulated finance.
Yeah, basically. And what it specifically does, and someone pointed this out to me on X, was that his company Oxbow.io, registered in America, is set up to make crypto payments more difficult to trace. It's an anonymity feature for crypto. So this man is now heading up Nigel Farage's team of Dodgers, whatever you call them, Dodgers, and he's now being given access to Kent County Council's IT systems, as far as I can see, and databases. And he's an unelected official. He's just a guy that Farage has brought in, and he runs a bit of a dark-looking crypto platform and an online investigation company. There's like red flags.
Is this the guy you wrote the letter to the Electoral Commission about?
No, I've written to them twice. No, that I just wrote to them about. Is it acceptable to accept crypto as a political party? And they said it was, as long as it's declared. But that's the problem with crypto, isn't it? I've been attacked left, right, and sideways by the crypto bros. Oh, it's the most traceable form of currency, but it isn't.
It's not real. I don't understand. Somebody explain crypto to me, because as far as I can figure out, it's not a real thing. I mean, clearly it's something because people have been using it for years now. Mm-hmm. But how? Yeah, my friend was here earlier and he said, well, I don't really understand it either, but I think you have to get I can't even remember the word he used. God, it was so ridiculous. I think you have to get a little adaptation machine to plug into your computer, and it does all the data mining for you, and it takes a very long time. I went, yeah, but where's it coming from? Oh, I don't know. Thanks, Dave.
Yeah, that's crypto
I don't
mining.
Understand.
Yeah, that's crypto mining.
Isn't that where cryptocurrency comes from?
No, you just buy it.
I can't go and open a crypto bank thing and go, I have 2 billion imaginary crypto dollars. Who wants it? I don't. What?
Basically, you can buy it. So you buy it. You can trade it on platforms. So you can just put in your credit card details and say, I want £1,000 worth of Bitcoin or Ether, whatever.
Okay.
And then it goes to they use these things called a crypto wallet.
So you pay the crypto miners.
No, that mining thing's a bit separate now. Crypto as a currency is just basically like an electronic form of money, and you can trade it and buy it like you would like euros or dollars.
So it's basically just electronic banking.
Yeah, but it's very, very easy with crypto to hide where the money's coming from and where it's going to.
Well, then it should be banned.
The tech bros will tell you that's nonsense. Certainly it's all stored on a blockchain. But a blockchain is sort of a decentralized ledger of where all the money is. But there's a reason why criminals use crypto, it's because it's very, very easy to hide where it comes from and where it goes to. And from what I can tell, this guy that Farage has brought into reform, his entire company is to make it harder for people to see where the money's coming and going from. So I just, there's all sorts of alarms going off everywhere with this stuff that's happening in Kent, and they're going to move it on throughout the country wherever they've got a reform council. So I assume Darren Grimes will be involved in it any minute now, as I think he's the deputy leader of Durham County Council. But yeah, it just looks like they've hijacked the council, though. They've brought in these weird unelected people, including Aaron Banks. I mean, going back to Carol Cadwallader and Brexit, and Aaron Banks is now involved. And then this guy who's
in prison.
Yeah, exactly. And this crypto guy, I don't know. I is it legal? I don't know. Is it ethical? No, it's definitely not ethical.
Do the laws matter anymore?
Well, this is exactly the problem. And I've written to the, what they call, the Information Commissioner's Office about it, because I don't think it is legal. I'm not saying it is or it isn't for purposes of I don't want to be sued right now, but I'm going to find out. And so I'm waiting to hear back from the international, whatever they just said.
It was the ICC,
information.
Like
that's it, the Information Commissioners,
the International Criminal Court.
That's
what they should be.
No, you're making it more complicated for me. I can't. Information is.
I was going to bring cricket into it, but
Information Commissioner's Office.
I didn't.
ICO. I got there in the end.
Oh, there you go.
So watch this space, and I'm hoping I'll get some info back on that, because it doesn't seem right to me. It's just,
sorry, these new headphones have got a bit big. There we go.
Yeah, you got matching to me now, I think.
I'm going to have to put the smaller little. I've got a tiny head.
Oh yeah, the little.
I get to wear kids' hats though, so there's that. But yeah,
yeah. So the other last thing I just wanted to say about that is that in Kent County Council specifically, they've created a new executive cabinet position on the back of all this DOLGE stuff, and this guy's called the cabinet member for the Department of Local Government Efficiency. So he's a DOLGE or something. It's 37 grand a year he's going to get from them. So they're supposed to be finding waste, and they're bringing in 3 extra people to combat the waste. That's crazy.
Forgive me if I'm wrong, but in an organisational structure, again, the old pyramid, managers and directors and what have you get paid far bigger salaries than your average worker, because they have the responsibility of making sure that their budgets meet their targets for cuts and spends and what have you.
Absolutely.
And every few years, either that company or HMRC, less likely because staff and that, get audited.
Yeah.
And those auditors go in and they get paid a lot of money to go and forensically check through all the accounts and all the procedures of the company, and that's their fucking job. So what the hell is this person for?
Well, it's
a man
just
to check
nonsense.
the thing to check the thing.
Yeah, you see,
because all the proles have to abide by the law, but everybody who works in politics gets to just completely ignore it. Is that what we're saying? Yeah.
Feels a bit that way. Yeah.
How about you police yourselves and do your jobs and look after the people of this country instead of corporate interests?
Yeah, I know, it's crazy. I think the DOLGE thing's just a circus show. I don't think, although I did see, I think yesterday, Zai Yusuf, who seems to be the guy that's sort of running the show, as it were, put out some
he's
tweet
got 50-50 with Nige, hasn't he?
Well, yeah.
Remember?
Well, I don't think he has. They changed it, didn't they? It's 75% Nigel now.
Oh, okay.
They restructured earlier in the year, and it went to 75% overall control of the Reform Party is held by Reform 2025 Limited. And that's just Nigel Farage.
I believe you. I just want to check it because I thought I'd seen something quite recently.
Oh, okay, yeah, sure.
But God, sorry.
I thought that's where they were. Yeah, fine. No, in the meantime, I saw Yusuf put out a post yesterday about how DOLGE had found 2 billion something of waste at Kent County Council already. And I looked at it and I quickly searched, and all of that was sort of found previously and reported on, spent over the last 2 or 3 years. It was investigated and found out before they arrived. But they're just I don't know what the word is, but they're just like a circus show, dragging themselves around going, look what we found. No, you didn't. You're just taking credit for something that had already happened. Andrea Jenkins did exactly the same thing in Lincoln. She took credit for pulling Lincolnshire County Council out of a nuclear waste deal. But it happened in March, way before Reform was there. You know, I pointed this out to her. But that's what they're doing. they're just taking credit for stuff that's already happened and going, yeah, look how amazing we are. We found all this waste. And like, well, no, you didn't. You're just announcing it as if you did, but it isn't you. It can't be. You've only been there for 2 days. So, yeah.
It sounds like the Tories, doesn't it?
Yeah, a little
Can be
bit.
bad enough
It
standing
does.
up and I've had 14 years to do something different, but we didn't, and now you're in this mess.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Do you know what? I think we might have some news here to us both.
Oh, go on.
I've just put in Google who controls Reform UK.
Yeah.
And there's a few articles, Sky, BBC, Byline, actually. But Byline will be a bit in depth, so I'm not going to read that.
Yeah.
It's saying that Farage relinquishes majority control of Reform UK. This is back in February. A board will be put in place to set the direction of the party, with Reform's more than 200,000 members to vote on decisions at the annual conference, blah, blah, blah. I'm very confused because that's not what I thought was.
That's what they said. And then they put it to this nebulous company called Reform 2025 Limited. And that's who's controlling it on Company's House. I had a look. And that is
Reform 2025. That sounds familiar.
Yeah, exactly. Doesn't it just? They can't do anything without copying it off of MAGA. But
bingo bongo, yeah.
Go on.
Yeah, Farage and Youssef as directors. And according to Company's House, no persons with significant control.
Yeah. But it is Farage. I saw some, it was maybe Josiah Mortimer or someone at Byline that said, no, actually, yeah, it is Farage still. Because what they've done on Company's House is they've applied for special dispensation to withhold the name of the person for political reasons, because you can do that if there's a thought that it might put you in danger. So that's what they've done on Company's House. They've got this special dispensation.
What, a milkshake?
Well, exactly. But they can now withhold the name of the person with significant control because it's Farage, as always. It's just smoke and mirrors. The whole company thing is just smoke and mirrors. It's all over the shop, Reform. And you keep pulling at threads and keep finding absolute.
But again, we're going round in circles because it would be very, very easy to stick a stick through the spokes. Is that what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah. And whip them up by just introducing legislative press reform.
Yeah.
And I don't know, maybe recognise the fact that honour is dead and change the Nolan principles into Nolan laws of being a decent human being.
Yeah, someone quoted the Nolan thing to me, the Nolan principles the other day, about this sort of county council structure that they're forming, and there's 7 principles, isn't there? And I think they've gone against at least 4, maybe 5 of them within less than a day at work at Kent County Council. I know it's voluntary, but it's not supposed to be. It's supposed to be. That's how.
They get about 20 grand a year, I think, don't they? No, I'm exaggerating. I think they get no. I think don't they get 12, 15 grand or something in expenses and what have you?
Oh yeah, they can do.
Yeah, it's not complete. They're not completely doing it out of the goodness of their own heart, because they don't work like that.
It's just so easy to pull threads and pull them apart. Youssef again, he's been busy this week for Reform. He was on I think it was Lewis Goodall on LBC on Sunday morning, asked him, because they came out last week with, we can save £7 billion by scrapping DEI across government. And Lewis Goodall went, can you? He went, tell us how, please, because, this is interesting. And Youssef kind of floundered a bit and he said, oh, no, it's from this report we've commissioned. And he tweeted out, he said, I'll tweet the report out after the show. So he did, but he did it in a reply to an LBC post. And it was really, really difficult to find it. And I eventually found it. And it was just basically this think tank run by a Tory councillor in Harrow, who'd put together this basically like wish list of like anti-woke stuff. It was complete bollocks, absolute nonsense, all of it. And I went through it page by page, and there's a brilliant account on Twitter called Emma Monk, and she's good at doing stuff like this as well, and pulling at threads. And we both looked at it, and we're both like, this is just complete bullshit. Every single bit of it's made up. And it's made up by this guy who's a Tory councillor, Paul Osborne, and he works alongside Susan. What's the fucking? Oh, I've forgotten her name now. What's her name? Susan
Boyle.
London mayoral candidate.
Hall.
Sorry?
Hall.
Yeah. And he works alongside her in Harrow. So, you know, they're not doing a lot to dispel the myths that Reform and Tories are kind of like interlinked. So they'd use this kind of made up bullshit from a Tory councillor as their figure for their 7 billion DEI. It doesn't exist. It's nonsense. It's just imaginary fantasy
Susan
figures.
Hall lying.
Susan Hall. I know.
I'm glad I'm sat down already.
Exactly. Who'd have thunk it? Susan Hall.
Oh, God. I just don't understand why nobody ever calls them out to their faces. Because the minute you do it with these people, they just drop their kecks.
Yeah.
They can't.
Farage did it. Yeah. But Farage did it in the week. He was up in Scotland and some SNP protesters turned up. And then he started accusing the guy from the Glasgow Herald of leaking the location to the protesters. He said, he did a Trump. He's like, you're, fake news media. And then he legged it with his bodyguards. Yeah, legged it. he hasn't got one. But he legged it out the back door with his bodyguards. No scrutiny. If they were scrutinized, like you said, they crumple like a cheap suit. Every single time. Yeah. Yes, please, the UK media. Give them some questions. Actually ask them something. Hi, everyone. Don here. Just a quick interjection to say that at this point in the podcast, for some reason, I'm not sure why, but we lost Sal. Her video and audio completely disappeared from the recording. So we're going to end it here as the end of part 1, because we've got some more to add, because after recording yesterday, you may well know that there's been a significant development in Reform, and we'd like to also mention what happened overnight with Trump and Musk. So we're going to record a small edition part 2 and cover what got missed off yesterday. So join us later for part 2. Cheers, bye.